Ko Adrian Rafi. Nā koe?
Sir, it's a pleasure to rise to take a call on this bill. I didn't sit on the select committee for this particular bill, but I have a strong interest, and I have taken note of the submissions that were made, and I want to first of all point out the submission from the Rangitike District Council, which is in my electorate, so I've taken particular note of that one. The Rangitike District Council is one of those councils that have had to deal with a number of floods over the last 11 years, and I live very near a river within 50 metres of a flood zone, and I'm very lucky that I don't get flooded, but all of my neighbours have been, some of them 4 times over the last 11 years. So I've taken a real interest in this bill, and I want to congratulate the Honourable Nikki Kay for the work that she did on this bill. So I think, and I agree with my colleague Claire Curran, that civil defence is an area that all parties ought to be cooperating on, and I think I know that the Minister, when she was in charge of this bill, made certain that she was talking to all parties about this particular bill, so I want to acknowledge that. So we are supporting this bill. But there are a couple of things that we've had concerns about, and my colleague Claire Curran has already outlined those, but I want to pay attention to them as well. And so we got unease about the imbalance of power and authority that is exercising ministerial powers, and against consultation with local communities, particularly in the recovery phase of an emergency. This is of particular importance, I believe, for those communities that are affected by emergencies when they happen, and the transition from dealing with those emergency into the recovery phase. And I think it's important that we acknowledge the concerns that those submitters have made. I do want to acknowledge that there have been some changes from through the committee stage into the bill that we have before us right now. I think that they have made the bill better and stronger, and so I support those changes around that area. I want to talk also briefly about the emergency management or strategic recovery plans, and acknowledge the submissions of those submitters who had some concerns around that it didn't specifically require which detail needs to be in those plans. And I think whilst the bill doesn't want to be too prescriptive, I think they raised some clear points around that part of the bill before us, sir. I think as an overall comment on this bill is that we all want a better way forward. That I think the next phase in the review of the civil defence area is going to be critically important. This bill deals with some of the issues, but as it's been pointed out already, there is still more to come, and we look forward to that. So I don't have too much more to contribute on this, but those areas, particularly around moving from the initial phase of dealing with an emergency into the recovery phase, needs to be as seamless as possible, and the what is raised within this bill actually will achieve that. So I commend this bill to the House. Kia ora.